Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show. Ah, yes. Today is Tuesday, December 30th, almost the end of 2025. Can you believe it? You're here with us for a couple more rounds of helpful Web3 news, commentary, and answers to your crypto questions before we start tacking a 6 on the end of it. And Alex, I can't believe it because I said, let's do a year in review greatest hits episode, and I'm going to have all the clips assembled tomorrow and figure out a way to play them. So that's my task today. What are you up to?
I have lots of reports to write for all of our wonderful partners that go through all the metrics and all the data that I've collected and all the anecdotes I've witnessed and all that stuff. I have to update everything, and then working on proposals for next year. And then, yeah, doing some housekeeping. My stuff in ClickUp is a mess. Tori has been crushing it with all of her and now I have to catch up. I got her onboarded, and I told her, I did, mark my words. I was like, you're going to be better at this than I am very soon. And it took her about 18 minutes to get to that point, and now I have to catch up.
Yeah. Backstage, we were talking, and it felt funnier, it felt vibier, it felt cooler. And now we get on stream, and we're talking about paperwork and stuff, and the woes of our administrative
What was
deficits.
The vibe backstage? The color of the background.
Yeah. The color of the background. I came in and I was like, Alex, what is the science you use to determine what color the background should be? And he was like, vibes, man.
Solemn's right. I have to do content too.
Oh gosh, I know we got to do content too. I saw this. I saw this great tweet on the way in this morning from new friend Mackie, who hosts a great community of Clippers where I got to connect with and trial a lot of the folks that are going to be helping us with the show. And mostly I just like it for the piece of artwork, but it's got, for people in podcast land, an old-timey bathhouse with the streamers frolicking in the pool upstairs and the Clippers feeding the furnace that keeps the pool warm downstairs. That's kind of how it is on our show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what's funny is the funny part about turning the whole content thing into a media company and a business is that all of a sudden you don't have time to do content anymore because all of the business shit, and that's
we gotta pay everybody before the end of the year. All the payouts. We gotta make sure.
How about that? How about that being this is the first year in 5 years, 4 years.
Amazing that we get actual.
That we earn
dollars,
some
not
dollars.
just shroot
cool.
bucks. Yeah, we got a review. I was glossing over the documents lawyer Jonathan sent us, and reading Article 13 and subsection 4, and I was like, oh my god, I got a whole list as long as my hair, and this is not the place for it. I'm just airing grievances with you. A couple housekeeping things before we get to the fun. Hello, Doug. Hello, Tori. Good to see you guys. If you're looking forward to spending New Year's Eve with us, what are you doing New Year's Eve kind of a vibe? I have to disappoint you to say we are going to take New Year's Eve off for After Dark. We're still going to do a morning show. We'll be here tomorrow, same time, same place. So, Web3 101 is alive and well, but we're not going to do an After Dark show. And one thing we haven't decided, Alex, is are we doing the first Jito lesson tomorrow morning, or do you want to do it Thursday?
So... I mean, we can do something tomorrow. I thought the plan was a week,
Oh man, how many times have we talked about this, Alex?
3.
Jesus help us.
For anyone counting.
How has the show suddenly turned into us having a meeting about all the other meetings we've already had? I swear,
we always need at least one more meeting.
It's that weird time. It's that weird limbo time at the end of the year, where nobody knows what day it is, and clearly the show is, feeling okay. Great. Then tomorrow we'll do Web3 101 Wednesday. I just want you to know I was on my floor this morning, stretching and preparing for myself, trying to figure out how to visualize and communicate with words the very difficult mathematical like concept of doing a double volatile liquidity pool. So I've already been working, man. My brain is I don't know that I have a good way to like demonstrate it on the show until we get our friend Radio Dan on. He's the guy who sparked that. All that to say, we're not doing a show for After Dark tomorrow. We are doing a show tomorrow. There will be great educational content on it, and then I am hopeful that at the end of this week and the start of the following week in the new year, you can look forward to a little more structure and regularity from us as we continue to get the administrative support we need.
Yes, but also the big moment will be about at the end of Q1 when I finally don't have a day job anymore.
Oh, dude. Hallelujah. I cannot wait.
So much time lost with that. But mortgages and whatnot, no. You get it. Anyway.
If you've got a crypto question, a suggestion, a good joke, word of wisdom, let us know. Bearded, the chief carrot officer, coming in with the report that this morning our carrot yield farms are returning 4.8%. There's less bounty in the carrot fields than there was, but still better than my savings account.
Well,
so
I mean, but it really tracks though, because I would be really curious what the deposits have changed. And plus they aggregate yield from so many different places that as all of those places become more and more saturated with supply side and less on the demand side, then rates fall. And that's just
right about that.
The nature of supply and demand.
Correct.
Ding for you there. And also Bearded said a little ding for Alex keeping things straight. I want to give a shout out to Polar Knights, who is joining from Twitch. We don't have a huge following on Twitch yet, so Polar Knights, you're a VIP. If you've got a crypto question, something like that, a suggestion you want us to talk about.
We don't have a follow. We have Polar Knights. Good to see you.
We got a couple spam followers on Twitch.
Yep. Okay.
It's no arena, okay? I know everybody watching on the arena is like a party over there, and Twitch is more like the VIP room that if you know about, you know. There's a sign on the door, I think, that says "keep out" is what's discouraging people, but we let Polar Knights in, so thanks.
Twitch is tough.
Twitch is tough. You got a lot of competition over there. William Watson saying hi from the airport. Hi, all one people at Twitch, and hi, William, Mr. Will Watson, our good friend, is en route, taking a flight to get his card into healthy status before New Year, and I hope he enjoys it. Why is Polygon, KB wants to know, dumping so hard every time? Can you just hear the frustration in their voice? Why is Polygon dumping so hard every time? Not even right now. Every time, Alex.
Yeah.
Every time.
I think
there's I told you vibes.
There's a handful of ingredients. One, it's an old token.
Yeah.
Though they always get hit harder because it's harder to make older tokens have that new car smell again. That is, what so heavily drives the speculative price increases and, flash crashes and whatnot. And then you've got like all of the advancements and all of the growth happening on Polygon just not being something that it's easy to make like a sexy commercial about. It's all about increasing, stablecoin volume and more payment rails and more adoption by this group and that group to settle this and that and whatever. And it's just like this. Actually, I just flagged here. Here's a case in point.
Point me.
Right there.
Here it goes.
So a first for U.S. banking, a dollar-backed stablecoin issued directly on a public blockchain under the Nebraska Financial Innovation Act and in line with the Genius Act. Telecoin Digital Asset Bank launched EUSD on Polygon. And there's just like a bunch of this. But like this is the news. And it's hard to get super excited about it, So like I feel like a lot of the real advancements, the things that you would actually expect to be seeing from like an infrastructure layer of something tech focused, it's just not sexy, but like this is the stuff that you actually need to see to know that something over there works, so it's kind of it's a double-edged sword there.
Yeah. And it's this is something we were looking at yesterday too. I would be curious to contrast their price chart. Can you whip up DeFi Llama really quickly?
Mm-hmm.
I would be curious to contrast their price chart with their TVL chart, because check this out. I'm going to share
Oh,
the
we
price
threw it
chart.
up yesterday, and
we?
you are
Did we?
correct. Yes.
Okay, good, because the price chart, I don't think we had the price chart on screen. They're talking about why every time, and I don't know about every time. I would just say, like, pretty much since last year in that wave that we had after the euphoric everything is crypto post-election, they've pretty much been on a decline. And a lot of tokens have looked like that, but
yeah.
the TVL shows a different picture. And go ahead, Alex. I think I rugged you.
No, it's oh, there we go. I know how to work this. There we go. TVL is the exact opposite. This is TVL in POL, in Pol.
Yeah, on a steady rise up. See what I did there?
Just up.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, Evan, if you keep it right there, is that if you swap this to the USD, the dollar TVL, it's flat, which is also indicative of an exponential increase in the amount of tokens on chain into that value locked. Because as you just saw from the price chart, it's pretty much down only.
Yeah.
And yet this is flat, which is crazy. Well, no, I shouldn't say crazy. It's indicative exactly of the other line that we just looked at, which just up and to the right, which tracks with everything we're seeing.
Yeah, all of this is to say that, if you're a Facebook and TikTok and Instagram crypto content watcher, and you're betting on Polygon, buying it because you're thinking you're going to get a 5 or a 10x sometime, and that's kind of how you're doing it. I don't know. I think there's a lot of merit to the argument that, like, yes, crypto as a technology will be exponential. We're still really early. It's good to pick projects that have strong fundamentals and strong utility and strong adoption, because you're betting on, like, a technology that everyone will use. But I also think that people are guilty of pretending to be venture capitalists when they're not. And it's not your fault necessarily. I think a lot of media slants and skews us in that direction. That we are tempted to believe that we have the same upside potential or should expect the same returns that a venture capitalist who put their money in, 5 years ago is going to get out of this token again and again and again and again. I'm not sure how to counsel you except to say, temper your expectations. Most startups go to zero. Most tech startups go to zero even faster. And Alex always likes to say it because it's true. We are at the bleeding edge of tech. So expect failure as the norm. Not that Polygon's going to fail, but the number one driver of price here is hype. And unless you want to be like a day trader, like buying the top, selling the bottom, or strike that, reverse it, trying to get rich, then you got to temper your expectations. What are you thinking?
I
got thrown off by the screen. I was like, what?
Yeah, I clicked the wrong thing.
It was cool.
I think the thing that people just need to keep in their head is that we all also collectively, as people interested in crypto, generally have unrealistic expectations for what this stuff like actually is. And a lot of that is due in large part to the way that this stuff was initially sold to people. Because like you said, hype is needed to drive price action. Utility does not drive price action. Excitement about utility drives price action. And as soon as that gets dried up, then you have to continually manufacture new things to be excited about. That is, and I'm on record saying this going back years, if that's your plan, you will burn brighter than all of your competitors who are not doing that for a short time. And then you will inevitably collapse. And then you will have to talk about the boring stuff and build the boring stuff and focus on the boring stuff. Because at the end of the day, what are we all getting excited about? We're all getting excited about a bunch of databases with good branding.
Yeah.
Right? And so, like, when the news that starts, can you imagine just a world wherein the crypto stuff doesn't exist? The stage has not been set the way that it is right now. And what we're doing is we're talking about a whole bunch of different, like cloud-based data solutions. And then someone makes an announcement over and over and over again that, hey, this person, hey, this company, hey, this entity, hey, this government, hey, this whatever is now storing this amount of important data on our data solution. And everyone's like, boring. It's like, bitch, what am I supposed to be doing?
What a loser.
That's the whole point. That's where we are right now, wherein people are seeing like a data solution, onboarding more data storage users to solve their data problems with this data solution. And they're saying, boring, get rid of that thing. Let me know when there's more like monkeys in board shorts. Let me know when, I don't know. What is it? Let me ask you, let me turn the question back around. What do we want to see? Like what would, if hype drives price movement and everyone who's like in this stuff wants the price to go up, why is it going down? Because everyone is repeatedly okay with selling it at lower and lower amounts. Like we've talked about this back in the day with the whole NFT thing, right? Like the floor price is whatever everyone wants it to be. And if everyone collectively agreed that the floor price of even the shittiest NFT collection was going to be $1 billion, guess what? That's what it is. Doesn't mean anyone's going to buy it, but that's what it is. Same is true with these tokens. So yes, of course you have the AMMs, but if there was no buy interest, if there was no volume at these levels, and people just who had the token were consistently holding it more and more, or refusing to sell it for less, or setting their limit sells for higher, then in that instance, prices start to go up. It's a very interesting little machine that we've constructed here. And at the crux of it is this burning question that I don't really think anybody can answer. What is it that you would need to see personally as the investor to get really excited about it again? And why isn't that enough for everyone else? Because once again, we're in this weird cycle wherein the only like reasonable explanation for the whole thing is that actually no one either really gets it or is really interested in it. And these are all just looked at still as gambles that went sideways. And now we're losing interest and moving on to other things. But it was never actually about the project itself. Like the diehard, the true believers of a thing, they're such a tiny little group that it really doesn't matter. You know?
Yeah. I've got two questions here that are worth following, and actually one that you've already responded to, and I'm moving it to the front of the line because it's from our VIP on Twitch Polar Nights.
Sweet.
Listen to this, Alex. One question, and this is a weird one. Boy, is it. A buddy was backpacking in India, and he swore to God that he did see, I can't figure out the dialect. He swore to God that he did see Gerald William Cotton in a village in northern India in a villa not too far from the BB. I told him, can't be. He's dead. Have you heard anything? Personally, I have not heard anything. I had to Google this because I was right in camp with you, Alex, who responded, I genuinely have no idea. Okay, get this. Gerald Cotton is the believed to be dead former CEO of a crypto exchange called Quadriga. Okay. He died suddenly in 2018. This is a Canadian cryptocurrency exchange. And reportedly, he died in India and took to his grave the passcodes that locked like $250 million in other people's assets that were on his exchange, Quadriga CX. And investigators found after his death that he'd been acting kind of strange. He'd been moving money from the exchange into his personal accounts. He'd been engaging in other suspicious behavior. And though his wife, after he died, made some comments like, hey, I don't know, my husband died. I hate that you guys are asking me these like painful questions and bringing this up again. But there's a lot of speculation that this guy just pulled off the perfect crime. That he never had to face criminal charges, that people think he's dead, and so could he be? I don't know. Palmer, bearded, with the assist, says his widow forfeited $12 million in assets and claimed ignorance of his actions, though cash deliveries to their home raised quite. Dude.
Oh, no.
Alex, can you imagine this? Okay, so you and me were We're co-founders of a cryptocurrency exchange. We got $250 million, and we've been saying for years, if only we were willing to do just a little bit of crime, right?
Oh my.
So you and me over lunch one day, we start to talk and we think, okay, India, that's the place we're going to die.
Dude.
And we
okay, I'm just picturing right now, I have this image in my head of like someone trying to do crime and like feign their innocence, meanwhile just getting duffel bags of cash delivered in broad daylight to their house. Don't worry about it.
Or like he's got like a mustache glasses like combo, and he's just like walking it up to the front door, and he's like, I'm definitely not Gerald Cotton. I definitely don't love you.
Don't worry about these bags of cash. Dude, some people are so bad at crime. If that's true, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Honestly, like the hilarity of that situation. Just at this point, like when do you just be like, all right, you know what? You're so comic book villainy that I'm just going to let you have this one.
Yeah, it says, this article also goes on to say that Cotton, this is the subheadline, Cotton ran Quadriga like a Ponzi scheme. It sounds like he used it, according to one journalist, as his personal slush fund. So oh my God, look at this. He took this picture of cash on his personal counter that was delivered by an ATM company. So I have a feeling that that's how it was. Like, here's this nerdy guy who just starts a crypto exchange and kind of like Walter White's his way into this, you know, like imagined fantasy lifestyle of like, I am the one who knocks. And naturally, the next
oh
evolution.
my God, that's it, isn't it? He just watched Breaking Bad and he's like, I got this.
He's like, no, man, this is easy. I saw how it works. So, you know. Interesting side quest, interesting story. Thank you for the question, Polar. If you did see Gerald Cotton, you know, ask him to borrow $1 and maybe he'll help you out. I also have one more question, Alex, that asks about the XRP ETFs.
Yeah.
In case you didn't know, XRP ETFs are smoking, okay? 18 straight days per this report that I'm looking up from December 11th was the day I pulled that one up because that was the day it hit $1 billion in inflow.
Yep.
I do need to check on an update, but I'm curious what you think. I would say, you know, there are a couple of factors that we've seen with this and other ETFs, like now people who are long-term investors or less liquid and less velocity than other crypto traders are holding on to this, not expecting to sell it for a quick profit. It's in their retirement portfolio, you know, so they're not going to like just up and down it. But do you have any comment, any notes, anything that could be causing this spectacular run of an ETF?
Yeah, it's institutions. They're buying it.
But they're buying it, as Will would often say, to keep up with consumer demand. Yeah?
No. Like they are investing in it. So you have the custodians, of course, like doing all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like
yeah.
Is
it institutions?
a chunk of it. I mean, I don't know what the breakdown is between retail and institutional buying and investing in this, but I think that it was inevitable. Like, name me, maybe, you know, besides Bitcoin, name me a crypto that has like a more dedicated, almost exclusively long-term focused holder base, right? And an ETP is a great, it makes more sense for XRP than it makes for almost anything else. I would say that the ones that make sense, the only ones that make sense, realistically, are proof of stake layer ones, wherein large supplies of the token would get purchased and staked. Has to be staked, otherwise it's detrimental to the network, and Bitcoin and XRP. And that's it. I'm not interested in any other ETP, really, truly. And I'm not personally super interested in the XRP one. I just think it makes perfect sense because the only thing anyone does with that token is hold it for the long term. It's perfectly positioned to be an ETP base layer. No one's using it for anything. It's not needed to do stuff on the ledger and on RippleNet, which is where all of its, as a product, the demand is going. And the token is the thing that keeps the whole thing operating and running in business. So make an ETP, it's going to crush, and it clearly is. I mean, billions, more than $1 billion now.
Yeah, that
I don't know.
was
I think it makes
like
perfect
2 weeks
sense.
ago. So
Yeah, it's like 1.25 billion over 6 weeks or something like that.
Yeah,
But I don't know. Like I say it all the time. You don't have to like XRP. You don't have to be into it. I personally just find it excruciatingly boring. It's not my cup of tea. I don't hate it. I don't know. This always throws people off. It's like you have to either love it or hate it. I reject that. I just don't really care, and I'm sick and tired of talking about it. But I'm sure that ETP is going to do great. Like I said, the way that people have treated the token is perfectly primed for an ETP to do well. I don't expect that. I honestly, my speculation about the XRP ETFs would be that you really don't see heavy outflows ever. I think you'll just see inflows slow down. But I don't think that in the same way that you would see, like the volatility of the Ethereum ETPs, for example, where you do have very heavy outflow, or Bitcoin even, where you do have heavy outflow days. Yeah, I don't know. I would kind of hazard a little bit of a speculative guess that I'm pulling mostly out of thin air, but just to say, based on the way that the token has behaved in holders' hands, that if that is the same audience buying the ETP, that they would probably just hold on to it also for the long term. Because why would you do that? If you like XRP, why would you also want exposure to the ETF? Capital gains protection in a tax shielded or a tax sheltered style of account, right? That's it. There's no other benefit. It would be exponentially better for you to hold the token in every instance. Same thing with Bitcoin. Why do I have the Bitcoin ETF? Just because it's a way that I can get more exposure in another account that I don't have to pay taxes on because I already did.
Quick point of clarity for Rujas. Exchange
sorry.
traded product is ETP and exchange traded fund is ETF.
Yeah, sorry. ETFs are all ETPs, not all ETPs are ETFs. There's ETCs. There's one other ET something that's escaping me.
ETCs.
ETM? I'd have to look. There's like 3 or 4 different products inside of the umbrella that is exchange traded product.
Acronyms with Alex this morning. Thank you very much.
That's me, Mr. Acronym.
Add the one little bit I would add is the question is always, okay, so why isn't XRP price just like rocketing to the moon with all this demand?
It's the same shit. That's the thing. There's no like additional. Hype has driven it to exactly where it is now, which is significant. I don't know what's the price. Is it still like $2-ish?
Should have said before I asked that question.
Someone
XRP
fact check me.
Price now. Go for it.
Yeah. Okay. 186. So.
Yeah.
But for how long did it languish?
And we're down on the month.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, and how long did we languish at what? 50 cents? That was like the baseline for a very long time. The only thing that drove it from 50 cents to now a new floor, above $1.50 is hype. Nothing else happened. Nothing. Okay, the lawsuit kind of ended, but also kind of didn't, but also ended weird, but also I would hazard a guess that most people don't really know the full scope of that whole lawsuit, whatever. It didn't really have any impact. Nothing has changed fundamentally for the product, right? It's still the same thing. Ripple still uses XRP to make money to do all their other stuff. But that fervor, it's there. It's stronger than ever. And, it's going to last as long as people get tired of moving the goalposts, which I see those comments a lot more. If you're like a big XRP fan, I'd be really curious, what you think genuinely about every time I see a content creator talking about it. It's always just punting the goalposts farther and farther and farther away. I know I said the end of 25. I should have said the end of 26 and any day real soon now. And, it's here. And, I did say 300 by the end of the year, but now I'm going to have to change that. And I'm going to gaslight you a little bit into making you believe that maybe you misunderstood me when I said that. I don't know. I just doesn't that get boring? Aren't you bored? I'd be bored. I'd be pissed off and bored.
Yeah, I get it.
Pissed off and bored is the title of my memoir, by the way.
You mean it's not...
I will absolutely die on this hill. That's the subtitle.
Yes. The technical answer was kind of what I was looking for, though you got to give the people what they want. Why could a token have so many inflows for its ETF product and not experience an increase literally in price? And the answer is technically because the token and the exchange traded product are totally separate. And that often, though having an exchange traded product requires you to back your product with tokens, those tokens are bought in such a way that price is unaffected. A lot of them are bought over the counter, which means...
And you know that a company like Ripple had all sorts of deals with the custodians of these ETFs before the fact to make sure that that's where they were going to be buying tokens from. So I'm sure, see, again, couldn't give less of a shit about the token XRP. But man, if you could buy stock in Ripple, they just probably skyrocketed their revenue. I have no clue what Ripple's revenue is, but I'm sure that it's not nothing.
No, that's right.
Because that's where they're buying it. They're buying it over the counter from the company directly, not from... No one's market buying your XRP on whatever exchange you use. Sorry.
Ripple's revenue, according to Google, we'd have to definitely fact check that, is complex. Obviously, they sell tokens every month. But they did acquire in 2025 Hidden Road. They acquired G Treasury, and they launched RLUSD. So I would be curious to see breakdowns of those things, but I imagine they diversified their revenue sources this year. Shout out to Bearded, Chief Fact Check Officer. I knew he would be on it. Ripple, the company behind XRP, generated almost $1.867 billion this year. Very interesting. Here's a question from Eric Colorado, but on the way there, I want to answer another one. I didn't see who asked it in TikTok, but I do see the question asking about demand. How do you gauge supply and demand on chain? Will,
good question.
I'm doing a show here. There's no request for you. Think of the people in podcast land, man. Request if you want to come up, but help me out.
Oh, sorry, Evan. Time out before we get on the tangent. There was a question earlier that I got distracted from saying. It's a quick answer. The question was, how do I pay taxes on on-chain activity if I haven't exited the market but I have triggered taxable events? Listen, this is why I'm repeatedly dying on the tax clarity regulatory hill, on the legislative front, because this is the answer. And I'm very sorry that this is the answer because it's honestly bullshit. But this is the way that you have to exit the market. In order to legally comply with tax law in the United States, even if you've kept all of your activity on chain between tokens, you have generated taxable events in dollar equivalents at the time that the event was generated, whether it's a swap or a sale or a stake or a yield farm or whatever. And you literally are forced to exit the market, to off-ramp that cash, generating, you got it, another taxable event in order to pay the taxes on the first one. Because there is still not even the faintest whisper from any of these politicians who claim to want to make America the crypto capital of the world to protect you from just getting railroaded with taxes for just trying to barely function in this. And that's, again, it's all by design. That pisses me off. That's the shitty answer. I'm very sorry that that's the answer, but that's what it is.
Okay, I'm going to let him do it. Here he comes from the airport, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. William Watson. Everybody, you want to see his video, you got to come on over to TikTok. Here he is. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good, guys. How about yourselves?
Great. Thank you. Where are you currently
Wonderful.
in the world?
Well, I'm in Boston, but I'm just in the Delta Sky Lounge where it's a little quieter. So I don't want to derail things too much, but I do have to head to my gate, and I just wanted to talk about the repo market really quickly.
The repo market, okay. All right.
Yeah, because that is where the Fed, in the middle of the night, puts a bunch of money into the banking sector for very short term to make sure it doesn't break and has enough liquidity to run its operations, and then the banks give the money back the next day. So they gave $16 billion in repo last night, which is the third biggest in history, but they also did it to the tune of like 12 billion 2 days ago, and then they did it again for like 10 billion 2 days before that. This is really, really, really fast repo market activity that's also happening at the same time, where people are wondering if, like, JP Morgan just lost $5 billion with their silver short.
Was it
However,
confirmed to be
I've been
JP
also-
Morgan?
It is not confirmed. However, they filed an 8K stating unrealized losses from a silver short position to the tune of $5 billion. Unrealized, though, so not sold yet. However, I've also seen a bunch of people talking about how they also opened up a physical silver long position that is 3 times larger than their short position. So there's a lot of like interesting, crazy things going on in the precious metal market that is putting a lot of pressure on banks as they're making these like really big, very leveraged moves. And with the Fed doing record-breaking overnight emergency repos, it is certainly highlighting that there is a really big potential problem in the banking sector that would have imploded a few days ago if the Fed didn't step in. So we are on the precipice of bank failure if the Fed decided that they could no longer do repo, which they'll always do repo. So like things will be fine, but there's a lot of like shaky shit happening in the precious metals market that's involving a major US bank, and people are suspecting it's JP Morgan.
Wow.
So, okay. This is not my area of expertise at all. These are genuine questions. I don't know. And Sonoran said it in the comments too. The first thing I think when I see like giant losses on paper at the end of the year, is this just like an elaborate tax fraud ruse on behalf of some giant bank? Because we know they made way more money than that during the year, right? I mean, like the banking revenue in general this year is going to cross $300 billion. So if we're talking about like, 10, 20, 30, 40 billion at the end of the year, to me, like the first thing that I think is like, this is fraud. Like they're playing with each other totally because they can. They write the rules.
But also at the same time, like you're a master manipulator, right? So you have a gigantic short position and then you open up an even bigger long position. So once the news comes out that you have all these unrealized losses from your short, the markets tank a little bit. You make more money from your short. You then open up a long position that's 3 times larger and you make more money once silver rebounds, right? These are master market manipulators. So they're probably fine. They're probably doing mental mind games, but we'll know a little bit more about what's going on at the end of each month moving forward, January, February, March, as disclosures come from these companies. And we'll have a lot of disclosures from these banks. Unfortunately, we won't really have confirmed answers as to what's happening until like March, because that's when all the banks have to release their public statements from the previous quarter. Or from that current quarter. So like we won't have a lot of clarity right now, but like a lot of people just know that like something's on fire. Like there's smoke coming from the US banking sector right now. And usually where there's smoke, there's fire. But thankfully, because of 2008, its recession, there's so many things to save banks now. No US bank will ever go under. It's basically impossible now. But it doesn't mean that it won't really reduce sentiment and make things really scary in the markets for a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say that the thing that I feel like is way more likely to happen, even though it may seem on its face to be the unlikely outcome, because let's just be clear, DeFi fixes this, is like a loss of faith, is just a gradual erosion of faith and trust in banking as an institution, because more and more people are becoming more and more interested in all of this. I mean, more attention is being paid to like macroeconomics now than it ever has been before. We saw it with politics too, right? Like, yes, politics right now is unbelievably corrupt. There's been corruption in politics for a very long time, but nobody paid attention to it for a long time. Who was just talking about it the other day with regards to the Fed? There was like some speculation about the incoming new Fed chair, and it was like, I'm really uncomfortable with how much public scrutiny is on the Fed right now. The Fed needs to be independent and just like left to do its work. It's like bad for it that people with no fundamental understanding of how all this works are now sharing opinions on it because they read a bumper sticker. And you could say that about anything, but trust in institutions like government, like banking, are eroding at an exponentially increasing rate. And I feel like eventually more and more people will just find out that there is actually a way that you can opt out of the whole thing. And why wouldn't you do that? Because, oh my God, this is awful. Like, look at, like, because I agree with you, Will. I've always said, you know, I don't think the banking sector is going to collapse as long as the people who are working together are, one, the banks, and two, the people who create all the money and make all of their money from making money. That's seniorage, by the way. Great term to look into, and another reason why genius should really scare you. Yeah, because I mean, I don't know. That's how I see it. Like, yeah, they're going to keep doing heinous things, making tremendous amounts of money, having public blow-ups, and then getting bailed out by daddy. And that's banking.
We got in the wrong business, guys.
Yeah,
I know,
and just
man.
like there was a comment just a minute ago that said it's not crime when you're the government. That's true. I forgot that. My bad. I shouldn't have said fraud. I should have said good business.
Good business. Business.
Yeah, and for everybody
I do
asking,
have to.
oh, go ahead. Excuse yourself.
I just have to say I do have to run to my gate now, so I can fly to Nashville, hang out at the airport, and then fly immediately back up to Boston just to get my Delta status. That's literally why I'm at the airport. So I can get to my next Delta status, and I can get all my free upgrades to first class. Hey there, Norm. Someone also
That
asked,
was
like,
the
hey,
perfect timing for that sound.
Hey there, Normie. Yeah, I've literally spent. I was just like, hey, how much are your tickets? It was like New Year's, and I was like, that's like $650 to like fly to Nashville and back. I was like, yeah, I'll just do that. I'll hang out at the airport. I'll eat for free at the Delta Sky Lounge. I'll just work from there, and like, you know, like that's worth it. I'll get all these free upgrades
my
to first
God.
class. And hey there, Normie.
It's the perfect time to
So
buy.
yeah, that's what I'm doing today. Violet was like, my girlfriend was like, do you have to do this? And I was like, yes. What are you
Obviously.
talking about?
Every now and then, I'm like
but I gotta
aggressively reminded that Will and I are not the same. Sometimes I think like
I am in a different tax bracket. I'm sorry.
It's all right though. We're getting you. We're
It's
coming
okay.
for you, man.
We love each other. We are.
Have a safe flight. Enjoy all the free food, and you know, we'll catch you soon, brother. Thank you for joining.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Ladies
Love
and
you,
gentlemen,
miss you.
he's your friend, he's
Mwah.
mine, Mr. Will Watson.
what a
And he
dork.
looks like he's about to go fly the plane, doesn't he? His little bomber jacket with his big
No,
old
no,
mustache.
he looks like he probably owns the plane. Walk in, see the pilot. Rob, good morning.
Bearded said the only thing that sounds richer than that is the room he has just for wrapping presents.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Now that he's off stage, everyone can share your roasting Will comments.
Yeah. Hey. So everybody's saying we need to go take out a loan from JP Morgan right now. Don't do that, because even if they go bankrupt, your debt becomes an asset that they sell to someone else. If you see
Don't-
that comment, hopefully they're joking.
Don't do that unless you pull a Jeff the Dunker. Take out the loan. Go to Costco. Buy gold.
Buy gold.
On the credit card. Loan the gold. Collateralize the gold to take out another loan.
Yeah, buy ETH.
Buy
stake
ETH.
it.
Loop it.
Buy more gold. Yeah, unless you're trying to pull a Quadriga, Gerald Cotton.
Dude, that's the route. Okay, take
Call
out the
me.
loan. Take out the loan from JP Morgan. Go to Costco. Over leverage yourself to buy physical gold. Take the physical gold and sell it to a gold distributor who is agreeing to pay you in, I don't know, something else. Take that, put it into ETH, loop it, and disappear. And then just have duffel bags of cash delivered to your mom's house. And wear Groucho Marx glasses in public. There you go. There's your retirement plan. Thanks for coming to the Rise Up Morning Show.
I don't know how to sell this thing.
Don't worry about selling this thing.
We have a lot of actual questions, and a lot of them are pretty good. I want to be a good steward of Eric, who I mentioned and who asked forever ago. Thank you for being here and for being patient about why is the public blockchain for a token needed? If a bank wants to use a token for a blockchain, why wouldn't they just spin up the same code but privately? The short answer is probably
They will. Yeah. Great question. They will. Nailed
Great
it.
question. Simple
Yep.
answer. Absolutely.
This is why you should never be excited that a bank is exploring a blockchain, because they're only exploring it to learn what they need to do to make more money themselves. Someone, I think it was Jay Heat, sorry if I'm misquoting this, asked about Polymarket leaving Polygon. It's not because there's a problem with Polygon. And I don't know that this is confirmed. I saw the post about it. It looked legit, but it's because they want to make their own. Because why would you share if you're making that much money? What's the question you have to ask yourself as a business always? Okay, this is great. how do I make more?
More, obviously, yeah.
Own the infrastructure. And if you're using a public blockchain like Polygon, then the chain is making some revenue based on all of your volume. So why not privatize the whole thing? There you go. Make more money. It has nothing to do with Polygon. It has everything to do with Polymarket not feeling satisfied with how much money they're making.
Yeah, this is all on like Twitter speculation, but I do see different people who are saying that employees are confirming. And I keep saying we have friend of the show, Josh Hudson, works over at Polymarket now. Want to get him on, but maybe let me write myself a note just to text him today. Text Josh Hudson. Another quick rapid fire question coming from the comments on TikTok is how do we see things like inflows, outflows, on-chain stats? I'm going to give you a resource in a second, but first, another resource. If you are on TikTok and you want to understand the repo market, Will came in hot and he was like, repo market's overnight. And I know about half the audience said, huh? And I certainly did. If that's you, then have I got a resource for you. This came across my For You page the other day, and it was masterful. You need to give a follow to Jessica Inskeep over there. You may have seen her.
She's so good.
You may have seen her on, your television. She is a commenter, contributor to, whatever talking head show wants a cogent take about finance from somebody who isn't going to try and sell you some crappy thing and can explain it to you. She starts this video by saying, I hyperfixated and made a whiteboard of the entire repo market. And it's like a 10-minute video.
Dude, Jessica's whiteboards are what Evan's whiteboard wants to be when it grows up.
So much. It's an excellent video, and her whole account is great. She's really worth your time and a follow. But if you hear repo markets and just want to cry, then you'll feel better after this video.
I will say, and I'm excited to say that she has expressed interest in coming on the show.
I would love that. I think she's wicked smart.
She's so good.
Excellent teacher, and
oh yeah,
Jessica
I don't care what
like
the topic is. Like very clear, like has the vibe that she was a professor. But actually, what's interesting is that she also has some really good insights specifically into the whole financial advisor thing.
Yeah. That's
because
right.
she was a licensed financial advisor and had to relinquish a whole number of licenses and certifications in order to start creating content on social media about it, because there are rules in place that prevent you from doing that as a licensed advisor. She has a number of videos about it. I haven't seen her make one about that particular topic in a hot minute, but she's done some great explanations about like what the risks are of getting social media, generated financial advice, especially from people who harp on not being a financial advisor and, all that sort of stuff. And I think she has a great way of explaining it better than I just did.
Yeah, I agree. And speaking of better ways of explaining, if you are just looking for a chart, if you're not a linguistic person, then the website you need that I'm not honestly equipped to help you navigate totally free, because it's got a free plan and a paid plan, is Glassnode. If you're looking to figure out like how much supply is leaving exchanges, what is the true reflection of on-chain demand, you need to go to studio.glassnode.com. It's got a ton of different metrics that I will show you here. But the reason I Googled it also is because you should find a video resource to help you, because I have not made one yet. There's a ton of stuff here. You could open up GPT or Perplexity and say, hey, this is what I'm interested in knowing. Help me determine if Bitcoin or Ethereum has more on-chain demand right now, or whatever, something like that. And I want to use Glassnode to do it, or some other free tool. Can you help me? Like I say, the reason I Googled it is because you will almost certainly find a helpful video like this great video from MoneyZG. I haven't seen this video, but I already know it's going to be good because everything MoneyZG on YouTube does is excellent.
Real good.
Another great creator. It's called Glassnode Tutorial for Beginners. How to use charts, etc., etc. So look that up, check that out. Oh, turned Alex off. Sorry.
Oh.
Went to stop the screen share and I turned Alex off. So sorry. Rugden.
Exavella just asked, what platform do we prefer, or like what is the most helpful for us for people to watch the show on?
For us?
To be clear, like the honest answer is whichever one is best for you. That's why we put it in so many places,
100%.
just so that you have a lot of options. But in terms of like if I was to just give you the selfish answer, probably Twitter actually, because
Really?
as far as like, yeah. So my reasoning would be that as far as being like regarded as mattering in the ecosystem, it completely regardless of what your impact on the space is or what work you're actually doing or how many people you're talking to or how many, you know, public goods you've done for crypto as an industry. If it didn't happen on Twitter, the industry doesn't give a shit and doesn't think it really matters and doesn't exist. And so like I personally quite dislike Twitter as a platform. It's nightmarishly bad to go through. I feel like my entire page, my feed is designed almost entirely to piss me off so that I'm rage baited into engaging with more stuff. I almost never see things from people that I genuinely try to follow and learn from. I have to go to all their pages individually. Very similar to TikTok.
Okay,
But, you know, I think that's probably what I would say. I think the more like views, engagement, and traction that happens on Twitter, the more likely the industry is to recognize that you matter and exist.
see, and I agree with that, but I also, here's what I think. Part of the reason that we have any friends in the industry saying things like, I'd like to pay you money to come on and, you know, partner with you and help you have some marketing help is because we're on other platforms. So Twitter is a place we need to go more. But I will say the other thing is, gosh, the user experience of a stream there just sucks. I feel like it's isolating. It's difficult to interact with. YouTube and Facebook would be my recommendations. Not that it's not fun on other platforms. If you like the Twitter experience, you should go to the Arena, is what I would say. One, because on Arena, it's like a party. Everybody in the Arena chat, just go crazy for a second, and people will see what you're talking about. Number two is you can tip each other there and get tipped by us there in crypto. That's cool.
Now that you're answering it this way, I'm worried that my answer is going to be misconstrued as that's where I prefer it. Like, I want it to be clear, I hate Twitter. Twitter sucks.
I get it. I'm going there with you.
No one likes it.
No.
No one on Twitter is having fun. Okay.
So, but as long as I'm talking about user experience, the YouTube chat that we have is probably the most like engaged, committed. We have a lot of premium members over there, a lot of regulars from the community who watch there. And I would say if you want to go, you know, TikTok is like kind of the place we started where everybody knows our name. But if you want to have like a slightly slower paced, chill, see the same people and have an easier time recognizing folks, YouTube is equally good. But Facebook, shout out to Bearded, is also very accessible. Mm-hmm. They have closed captioning there by default.
Yeah. Really
and good. They don't limit the length of comments. Sometimes I'll get a Facebook comment and it'll be like, hello, Evan.
I love
this
that
is
too.
Bob Jones here. Been listening for a lot. And it's like a letter. I love that. But I feel like as a user personally, like it's difficult to click in, to click around, to click back. If it was for my money, where are you going to enjoy watching it most? I would probably say YouTube. The mix of where would you enjoy it and where would it help us is YouTube. But the only thing, honestly, that's going to help our YouTube is if if we start posting some more videos there, because it's not oriented towards lives. It's oriented towards, what are you going to watch next? Good question. So watch us on Twitter like Bearded. Watch us on Facebook like Bearded. Watch us on the Arena like Bearded, and YouTube like Bearded. The only place Bearded isn't, and I'm going to work on this, Alex, is backstage and StreamYard. Could you imagine if Bearded was backstage and he could type, Evan, Alex, I've got the screen share ready, and he could just hit the fact?
He would be a great
I'm on it, man.
chief screen share officer.
Chief screen share officer, also chief fact check officer. We had a question come in that I missed, which is, Alex, are you long-term bullish on anything? And specifically, are you holding anything in your portfolio
Yeah.
with the intention to keep it a long time?
Yeah, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. Long. All of it. Always.
And that's it, ladies and gentlemen.
That's literally it. Solana is in like the halfway house because I do swing trade it because it's volatile. The only thing that I really care about is size of the user base, the amount of growth on the user on that chain as far as like what it's doing and whether or not it's making money, whether or not it's sustainable. I have a whole bunch of other tokens that I'm like very interested in that I really like. But if we're talking about like exclusively an investment that I like feel better about for me personally in my personal situation. Can't stress that part enough.
Yeah.
It's those three. But
Alex, why
there's
not BNB? Because I feel like I have been psyoped into not having the same kind of confidence I might have in Sol or in ETH into BNB. Like I would, if I thought about it more regularly, probably have been a BNB holder the same way you're a Sol holder. You know?
Yep.
Do you feel like that?
I think that one deserves to be in the conversation too, as far as like users and stuff goes. Actually, I would have to look.
I would too. I feel like it's a U.S. bias thing. Like just what is in front of me all the time.
It is 100%. Their information is also just like harder to verify. Like you can't even get TVL in their token. It doesn't track that way. They're like a lot more of their stuff is unknown too and non-verifiable. Like if you DeFi Llama BNB, their TVL is gargantuan in USD, but their revenue and their app revenue, the chain revenue, chain fees, like all that kind of stuff, it's very, very low.
It's opaque
because none of it can be verified. So I think that there is, like an inherent US bias there against it, just being, home of our country of origin. But at the same time, it's shadier, But the token, like historically, it's just been at the top for a very long time, and it's probably not going to change.
Dude, we got to get the White Whale on the show. I had a conversation with them from the depths the other day, and they were talking about how much they have learned about what we all kind of know about how exchanges operate and how a lot of volume numbers are faked and a lot of liquidity numbers are manufactured. And just to hear some of like the specific examples that they may or may not be able to share on the air, but that I was like, oh my gosh, it's totally a story that people are telling you that this or that exchange. It's just like the JP Morgan silver thing. A lot of it is very elaborate storytelling with people who have a lot of money or comparatively own a lot of a particular token supply to make you believe something about it that is not necessarily true. And Binance, though I can't confirm it, it has been accused of that probably for my money more than anyone else. And again, that could be bias, because we live in the U.S. and, China's public enemy number one, or so they say, I guess. I don't know. I would love to meet CZ personally because one, I want to make sure I'm on his good side. And two, I don't know. I feel like he doesn't take himself too seriously. So,
I mean, sure.
Alex,
he's cracked the code to.
He's definitely cracked the code. Are you doing trust issues tomorrow?
Yeah.
Trust issues. If you've got them, join Alex and Emily and Lindsay and Katie. Are they all coming tomorrow, do you think?
I'm not sure.
Stay tuned for that. But join Alex and his friends with trust issues, talking about policy, politics, and where they all intersect with cryptocurrency.
Yeah, there's a lot to complain about.
Duh. I had a question and I lost it.
To echo Solemn's comment right here, I think the government will regulate until the DeFi dream is dead. They're trying. But here's the thing. Where the reason that I say it's inevitable, one, if it wasn't a problem, they wouldn't be trying so hard to kill it, and they wouldn't be trying so hard to kill it quietly while masquerading as if they're trying to support it. That speaks volumes. Two, this is one of those reasons that you have to keep people divided and uninformed, because the secret is that we all collectively have the power to get almost anything changed that we want if we just quit fucking yelling at each other about everything and just like tackled a thing, right? Like people lambast. Okay, sorry, I'm going to go off for a second. People complain all the time about like term limits for Congress. Okay, they have term limits. Stop fucking electing them. Okay, it's very simple. Why does it never happen? Because we let them stay there for a very long time so that they get, as Jesse Ventura in Predator said, dug in like an Alabama tick, and then it's really hard to get them out of there. Okay? DeFi is the exact same thing. Every piece of legislation coming out of Congress right now, every single one, genius, this bullshit Clarity Act, all of it is designed to kill DeFi. It's trying very hard to kneecap real DeFi. It's trying to shift everything into the pockets of large corporations who need to make more money and take more money from you. And we're all very worried right now that too many people are going to figure out that you can opt out of this entire thing and go take your money somewhere else and do something else by yourself with it or with each other. Again, that's the whole point. That's the whole point of crypto. That's why I don't give a shit about corporate crypto, because it's dangerous and it doesn't change anything. It's just a new way for big companies to make more money and grift more effectively. Okay, and we keep electing the same fucking people who make all of that possible. And then they keep everyone angry by killing people, by doing all sorts of heinous things with education, with medicine, keeping everyone as poor as humanly possible, while fighting with each other. You're convinced that your neighbor is the problem. You're convinced that that immigrant is the problem. All of that stuff. Meanwhile, all of this just keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And we're like complaining that we just need term limits for Congress people. Just quit electing them. They're only there because we put them there. We keep putting them there. Ted Cruz keeps getting elected. Okay, think about that for a second. You ever met anyone that likes him? I haven't. Go look at his Instagram. Go read any comment on any post that piece of shit has ever put on Instagram. Okay? They're awful. And yet, he has a job. Nancy Pelosi. I've never seen almost anybody say anything about her that was kind. And yet, she just kept getting elected. All of them. It doesn't matter what party we're talking about. People hate Chuck Schumer. He still has a job. Marjorie Taylor Greene is psychotic. She still had a job. Like all of them. There are term limits. Bernie Sanders said, he's the only one who's ever said it. He's like, they have term limits. Just quit voting for us. It's that easy. Right? Like, okay. So, yes, they're trying to kill DeFi because it's the answer. It's inevitable. It doesn't matter what they try to regulate and kill. There is always we are always 3 steps ahead. We're just too angry with each other for fabricated reasons to see it. I will absolutely die on this hill. And that is, again, I'll put the cherry on top of this to say this is literally why I started the Trust Issue show, because I'm so sick and tired. It makes me incredibly angry. Nothing on social media is more triggering to me than people who can't read legislation pontificating about clarity, about the Genius Act, about Fit 21, about any of this crap. You haven't read it. You don't know what it says. Even if you did read it, you don't understand what it says. All of it's terrible for crypto. And you are like in favor of crypto at the same time that you're promoting this legislation written by people who hate you in order to take as much money from you as possible. Read the bill. Okay, they're all bad. Solemn is right. They're all bad for DeFi. All of them. Everything. Fit 21 was terrible for DeFi. Sorry. There's like a bumper sticker meant to swindle everyone into thinking that as long as a blockchain is decentralized and functional, do you know what the bill's definition of functional is? That it works. You know how many blockchains fit that description? Every single one of them. Because there's no further clarification. You know what decentralized means? Nothing. There is no definition. They forgot to define the term in the bill. Okay, and then Fit 21 turned into Clarity. And you know what Clarity does? It forces a whole bunch of DeFi protocols to have to hide behind a centralized front end that they can't possibly allow to have. They can't possibly follow that rule, even if they wanted to, because the product would cease to exist. So the only way that you're then, why is Aave doing all this stuff? Probably because they're trying to be compliant with these bullshit rules. Because it's the only way. Look at Uniswap. Uniswap's killer. Uniswap can't comply with the way that Clarity is being written right now without ruining what is Uniswap. And say that about anything. I don't know. It makes me unbelievably angry. Regulation is in a terrible place right now. We went from uninformed people thinking we had no regulation to now those same more uninformed people thinking that we're headed in the right direction. The only direction we're heading is enriching more corporations and kneecapping DeFi. But as soon as people pull their head out of the ground, my blood pressure's up.
Not ideal.
Okay, give me a score. I had the red on the screen, so you would know this was indeed an official, endorsed, licensed, not sponsored, but definitely could be by Morton, Salty Alex Rant. Wouldn't that be great if we got a Morton sponsorship and every time you went on a rant, we could actually put the little salt girl on the screen, but just with your face and a blood vessel. Out of 10. Sonoran gives it a 10 on the rant. Eric gives it Awesome rant. Okay. I've seen you. That was pretty good.
Thanks.
I saw you do better.
I'm
That
just
was pretty
pissed. It's hard to like fully articulate points when you're that angry. I'm just pissed.
Bearded asks, how much for a heart and blood pressure monitor to have on screen? What I want is like one that's actually hooked up to Alex's arm so we can like watch it rise in real time. Maybe we could open a poly market on what we think Alex's blood
Prediction
pressure
markets
is.
on what my blood pressure will get to.
A blood pressure market, like a blood bank, but degenerate version. So there. We actually had a really good couple of questions, but first I got to read some of these comments. Can we get Alex on stage at Consensus?
That rant is why they won't let me on stage at Consensus.
Naughty
I try every
and
year.
Nice. We love an Alex rant. The question comes from Blaze. So what should people do now? And I'm going to give you the answer to just like cogently, concisely say, what is the remedy then? I think you always come back to this really well, and your whole channel has been a bastion for it. So Alex, I'm feeling disenfranchised. I'm pointing to that on the chart next to hungry and below tired. What do I do?
Read more. Use DeFi.
What should I read?
You should read about the protocols that you're interested in using. So pick the DeFi things. And first of all, okay, the number one rule is you have to have an open mind. You can't become married to a thing. If new information becomes available to you that should change the way that you feel about a thing, then you should be willing to change your mind when presented with that new information. Otherwise, you're gonna languish on that hill. Like I use the phrase "die on the hill" a lot. When you're dying on a hill that is like actively poisoning you, then that's not a great place to be. So keep your mind open. I know it sounds like cheesy and cliche and like a fortune cookie, but I'm serious. So when I say use DeFi, super vague, because the DeFi world is huge and it's a spectrum. The debate about Aave right now is quite literally about decentralization. It's about the decentralization of the protocol governed by the DAO versus the lab, which is a company that runs the front end that the protocol uses, or that people use to interact with the decentralized protocol. And the debate is truly, how decentralized is the protocol if, in order to get there, I have to go through this single door on the front end to use it? And if they have controlling shares in DAO votes and all that kind of stuff, like that whole thing gets called into question. So you need to be able to like intake a conundrum like that and continue to make informed decisions about where you put money and just do your best. There's no way to like win this inevitably. I would make the same. Okay, so I was vegan for a long time and still vegetarian, but some of the things that have moved me away from it was, one, the reason I was vegan in the first. I promise this ties back to DeFi. Bear with me.
I'm with you.
The reason I was vegan in the first place was not about not liking meat or not thinking that there is any reasonable way for an animal to be used for food or any of that. It was about cruelty. We get meat in a very cruel way, okay? But if you switch to something else to avoid cruelty, and there's cruelty in the thing you switch to, for example, quinoa farming, largely a cruel practice, that's disenfranchising. Then what are you really solving? You're shifting the cruelty from like one thing to another. And maybe the animal is cuter to you than the little kid in the quinoa field is, or whatever. Or maybe you just don't know that that is where most quinoa comes from. Either way, DeFi is the same kind of thing. Do your best. Pick a protocol that is trying to be decentralized. DeFi Carrot's a great example. There's some centralization there because behind the scenes, they're doing a whole lot to manage, investor risk, to aggregate where the yield is coming from, to keep CRT performing well by taking good care of it. Turbo, same thing, right? There's mitigation happening behind the scenes from the team to prevent liquidations and all this kind of stuff. All of that relies on people doing work. So you can make an informed decision about how decentralized the whole thing is based on how it's all, put together. Uniswap, same thing. Aave, same thing. Morpho, same thing. There are vault curators. How much of it is code versus how much of it is a person versus how much of it is the lab versus how much of it is the company, the foundation, right? So if you want to opt out of this traditional finance system that is just trying to extract from you 24/7, then pick a thing. So the first thing that you would do, I just had this conversation with my mom yesterday, actually. we're all in crypto, right? And we all like talk about the idea of utility in a token, right? The idea of utility in a token doesn't mean shit if the only thing you're doing is talking about it and then hoping that that's going to make your gamble pay off. You can go do things with it. If you hold Solana, I'll just use it as an example, you're not using it, you are not doing it correctly. You can invest in Sol and you can stick it in a wallet and you can just hope that it goes up. Or you can make it work for you really hard. And there's so many things you can do with Sol. There are so many things you can do with ETH. There are so many things you can do with Paul, like with all these tokens. And I would challenge each and every one of you who holds a crypto to ask yourself, what am I doing with this thing to put it to work? Why did I work so hard to get a Jito sponsorship? Why did I want to work with Jito? Because it's the gateway to using your Solana to work for you, to make you more, to earn you more, to earn rewards here, there, to stake here, to take that and to go use it in this farm here, to provide collateral for a lending protocol, like all the stuff that the banking sector does to you in order to take from you, you can do for yourself in order to grow. And you know, that's really all it is. You just have to use the protocols. So you have to learn a few skills. You have to learn how to get information from a blockchain. You have to learn how to look this stuff up. You have to learn how to use a wallet. You have to be flexible with that wallet. You have to be able to send and receive, to confirm what's in it, to use it safely and securely, to protect, and also how to connect safely, how to determine that a protocol is safe for you to connect to and use and stake with or supply to. You have to learn how to on-ramp, how to off-ramp. There are ways that you can off-ramp without selling crypto specifically. So many things have cards now, right? So all of these are skills that you can use to sort of gradually move yourself from the silo of traditional finance into this kind of like open world concept of decentralized finance. And, you know, it's intimidating. It's very intimidating. There's a lot of like bad front ends, like Jito, for example, that are, you read the front page of that website, it's very jargon filled. It's tech heavy. It seems complicated. And so there's a skill there. There's a new language you have to learn how to speak. There's all these new words you have to learn what they mean and how to actually tie it all together. You know, like maybe you've been in crypto for 5 years, but if I sat you down in a chair and I was like, explain to me right now where you can take Solana and increase the amount of it that you have consistently over time without ever having to buy more of it. Give me the path to route your tokens through different DeFi opportunities to earn more. Where can you earn interest on dollars? Where can you stake this? Where can you loop this? What even is all of that? Most people can't tell you. I couldn't for years. And then I realized, like, man, I'm really not using any of this stuff. And that's why crypto is languishing right now, because the using it conversation is so hard. It's lengthy. We have to sit here together for several hours, at least. You have to be willing to do a lot of boring reading. That's when I say read. Just read everything. And I don't
know
like
about everything. You think everything?
No, I don't mean like flashy news headlines with, you know, misleading articles and what is this study saying? What does this publicist post about this? I mean, like, go to a protocol homepage and click around and try to figure out like what you can do. I tried it the other day with Flare. Great example. I couldn't get anywhere. I was like, okay, I'm trying really hard. Like, I'm going to use this thing. How do I use it? Couldn't get there. Need to spend more time there. But immediately like unintuitive. And then when you get to a part where like you're like, man, this is really hard. I can't figure out what I'm supposed to do with this thing. Okay, this doesn't make any sense. That's a problem, and we need to bring it up to the people who are curating those experiences. And that's like what we're trying to do here.
I've shown this on screen before, but I do want to show Hasib. He's a managing partner over at Dragonfly, one of the top tier venture capital funds in our space. Posted a bear market reading list. A lot of folks say you should read white papers, but not all white papers are created equal. And this is a list I actually really happen to agree with for the most part. Even if you don't, these are all great white papers. You can Google and publicly read any of these papers, the Bitcoin white paper, the Ethereum white paper. I've never read the Flash Boys white paper, but Hasib puts it in the S tier. Probably because these S tier things like Zero Cash or Uniswap, whose V2 and V3 have their own separate white papers, a lot of these are introducing like foundational crypto concepts. I believe Ethereum is the first white paper to introduce the term smart contract.
See, like even just on that S tier list right there,
Yeah.
I've only read 3 of those. I've only read Bitcoin. I've read Ethereum. I've read Bitcoin, and I've read Zcash. I haven't read any of the other ones.
Yeah.
So there's a reading list that I'm now going to have to go.
Uniswap's white papers introduced some new key concepts too. I believe that's where liquidity pools were first talked about and introduced. Eigenlayer, I have read parts
Eigen.
of that one. The MakerDAO one is excellent.
Cosmos,
Tornado Cash also excellent. All these are just
Red
cool.
Lightning.
Filecoin is a really good one. Hot Stuff, no idea what that is.
Not a clue.
Never heard of it, but I would love to read it. The DAO, that would be an interesting one considering the
0x,
DAO,
yep.
its history in our space. There was a huge hack that revealed a lot about how smart contracts function, how crypto security works. All this stuff is worth knowing. And then if you want like how-to step-by-step resources, really, that's what the community's for. We go over this kind of stuff every day in the public forum, especially in office hours. Last week on office hours, we did a whole conversation about how to provide liquidity, which is different from staking, which is one way to put your tokens to work to earn income. But you might also talk about creating, locking, participating in smart contracts, issuing tokens yourself, earning more tokens. There are so many ways to use this stuff, and it can feel like drinking from a fire hose, especially if you're trying to learn for the first time. There are a lot of people who just want to tell you to buy something and you'll get rich. And there are a lot of people who just want to invest. That's all they want to do here, which is totally fine. But if you care about having a say in the future we are moving towards, the way that your elected officials care about having a say in it because they want to accumulate power, the way companies and governments care about having a say in it because they want to accumulate power. You are here first. So you should be involved. You should jump in at community.rumshq.com.
I think the real cherry on top too is to I've put several cherries on top of this sundae, but
It's my favorite part, man.
I know.
Love a good cherry.
I do love a good cherry. Fun fact, I will eat maraschino cherries just straight out of the jar.
Straight out the jar, dude.
They're so
No shame.
I think the
Alex
big
and I are
I
going to
think
be ranting and raving on our front porch with like just a jar of cherries between us, man.
with a shotgun and a jar of maraschino cherries. I think you have to be kind to yourself and forgiving to yourself too, because you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna mess stuff up. You're gonna park money with a protocol that you think is DeFi, and then it turns out, okay, actually it's just kind of a con, and then you move, or maybe this one doesn't work out. I mean, you're on like I said, you're on the bleeding edge of the bleeding edge. Not all of this stuff is going to work out, right? These are all startup companies. They're not all going to succeed, and that doesn't mean that they were a scam. It just means that this is a really cutthroat world. It's very hard to progress in. I've gone out of business. How many
Enough.
different things have we? At least 4 times
No
off the top of
more.
my head that I can come up with. It's hard. But Aave. I've seen a couple comments about it, and this is my favorite talking point right now, just because they're really in the hot seat and there's kind of a lot going on. But at the end of the day, something that is inescapably true is that platform, that protocol, has opened the door to so many new people with a great experience to earn more with more of your own money, to own an asset and to use it to work for you for a change. And so even if, don't get too hung up in the maxis who are, going to preach and gatekeep by something not being perfectly decentralized, or something being, not 100%, what they advertise to be or whatever, as if this is the first place where any kind of advertising has been more, I don't know, what's the word I want here? Exaggerative.
Sure.
It's a totally fine start to this whole thing to get a token for a major layer 1 and put it to work on something that's just going to actually reward you. Even if it's like a centralized thing that's just actually rewarding you more, that's a start. That's a great start. Your bank gives you 0.01%, and then there's a more centralized crypto thing that's going to give you 4%, like Coinbase giving you 4% interest on something. Yeah, Coinbase is a centralized company that probably has some corrupt political ties, that is definitely lobbying on behalf of legislation that will benefit them personally. But you know what? At the end of the day,
Even though they have a no politics policy.
oh my God, what a joke. Give me a fucking break.
Can you believe it?
But at the end of the day, they are paying you hundreds of times more interest than a traditional checking account is. And, you know, and they have security. Is it perfect? No. Are they infallible? No, absolutely not. Is it better? Yes. And there's so many options like that. So I think you just have to kind of experiment and do more stuff and just like be forgiving to yourself if you make a mistake. You know, don't go in with everything all at once. You know, spread it out, democratize your use of these different platforms, and that's why I'm on Solana largely, because I tried a bunch of them didn't work out. And over here I'm like, you know what, this network is sticking around, it's got a lot of interest, a lot of people using stuff, there's great protocols, and I've had a good experience here. So this is where I'm going to be for now.
Okay, it's about that time. I haven't played this sound in a minute, so today we're riding our cats and cows off into the sunrise. Will is flying into the dawn, and I am going to pull in Alex and read one more question to try and rapid fire answer it before we get out of here. If we didn't get your question, we didn't get your comment, don't fret, don't sweat. Drop it in at community.rumshq, RUMS, like Rise Up Morning Show headquarters.com. We'd love to see you there. And we'll be back tomorrow morning, same time, same place for more great show. You can catch the episode in a podcast. You can share it with your friend. What did you see? Which comment did you find?
Solemn's like, there's an island in international waters that's for sale and then Steckler.
He's trying to get us to buy a pirate ship, man, and I'm thinking we do it.
Yeah. I can read nautical charts. That's all I'm saying.
That's all I'm saying.
And then Steckler's, let's pool our money. If we each put in $10 and Will fronts the rest, we've got it. I agree with that. I think we all put in $1 and then Will covers the rest.
Correct.
Then I think we can do it.
Gosh, I actually like that a lot.
It's the perfect time to buy.
Yeah. If you are excited about that idea of pooling your money, you want to do it in a crypto native way, you're going to have to come back when we have the show with Unlock. One of the things we're doing in the new year.
Rise Up, the pyramid scheme.
They did say, Cotton, before he ran away to India, he was running that exchange like a Ponzi. So
it's true.
Here we are.
Yeah, don't be alarmed if you see me delivering bags of cash to Evan's front door.
Dressed like a pirate, eating a bag of cherries.
We're all going to work together to scam Will. That's what we're going to do.
That's right. Sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Watson, but we're taking your boy for all he's worth. I feel like Will would actually be a really funny hostage. He would be like, "No, please, I can get you whatever you want."
No, like actually, I can. Just say it.
No, boy, give me $1 million or the mustache is first to go. And he'll be like, "No, please, not my mustache." You know, it'll be great. Sorry, Will, we loved you. You were on the track to co-founder, and instead you became a hostage. But it's great.
It's the long game.
If you're interested in that kind of thing, one of the shows we will have coming up that we will put on our calendar is we're having the Unlock team back, and we are going to work with them to set up the official Rise Up Scholarship Fund. We are going to contribute some money towards it. You can contribute money towards it. You can get rewarded in like tokens that will allow you to have a say in what that money goes towards, whether it's scholarships for classes and educational resources, whether it's buying a pirate ship and making Will chip in for the rest. We would love to have your voice, your input, and have you practice crypto governance. We had a really good question, Alex, that I just want to voice. We don't have to answer it because I know where over time is. Banks, are they going to, I think this is from Creo on TikTok. It reminded me of something you said yesterday. Mm-hmm. Banks, are they going to build their own layer ones? Are they just going to abandon ETH? We talked about how easy it was for anybody to build their own blockchain. Mm-hmm. But you said something on the show yesterday I just want to keep in context for people that will give them hope in light of the conversation we just had. ETH, if you wanted to attack it or take it over or rebuild it, for example, it would be so incredibly costly. The good news about like DeFi and decentralized blockchains is some of them are sufficiently decentralized, which means they are big enough and no one person owns enough of them that any of them could be compromised cheaply, effectively, efficiently. Like if you wanted to attack the Ethereum network, you'd need to first of all find a majority of these thousands of computers, some of which are maintained anonymously all over the world, and you'd need to spend north of like $100 billion You know, so you would have to be in a handful of, you'd have to be the Walton family. And if you were colluding on that scale to that extent, like Will said earlier, where there's smoke, we would all know about it. And the best part is, even if you carried out an effective attack, we could all rally and decide what we wanted to do afterwards. Like, we could just reset the blockchain. There is so much power. Information, especially information that represents money or identity or your vote or whatever, has never been freer. So don't lose hope. But I'd like to talk more about that another time.
Yeah, just remember that the reason that things like DeFi get so much effort has gone into trying to convince you that it's a scam is because it's the answer. And if they weren't scared of it, they wouldn't be trying so hard to kill it. And I truly do believe that even if you have to go through a lot of darkness to get to that point, then it's going to win. I don't know what happens in the meantime. I do know that more and more powerful, corrupt people are trying very hard to squish it, but it's going to win.
It's going to win. Special shout out on the way out to door to RPS21. I had to check that was you.
Hey.
It sure is. Always
I
good to
missed
see you.
I haven't seen
the
you in a
perfect time to
while.
buy.
I thought
Thought he was
we'd moved
putting
on.
from the rough. And a special shout out, of course, also to the sponsor partners that make this show possible. I'm talking about Arculus, Jito, Polygon, Unlock, and of course, the White Whale. We absolutely love you. And you,
I am a big fan of
yes,
this.
you. We appreciate you for being the very best part of what we do. Have you got a final thought? Any last cherries to throw on top of this Sunday before I...
Just shout out to Bearded asking about office hours. My consistent office hours I'm really struggling with. It's going to be probably not going to happen until the day job is over, which is coming up at the next few months here. But in the meantime, I think a good baby step will be to just like plan specific instances where I can run a workshop. And so the first one is going to be next week, and it's a Jito workshop from like 0 to power user type of class where everyone who comes to this will be in Circle, by the way, community.rumshq.com. You will start off with, you just need a wallet. You don't even need any Sol. I'll send you some to use for the class. Then you will at least understand how to stake it, how to take the liquid staking token, and how to read the list of all the other DeFi opportunities that you can take that Jito Sol to and do stuff with, to earn yield, to loop, to provide liquidity, to restake if you want. To start earning JTO, their governance token, so that if you wanted to, you could learn how to read all the proposals and vote on stuff. All that is the plan for that. So I'm kind of drawing up the syllabus and the like curriculum. It's going to take a couple hours at least, and we'll probably have to do more than one. But that's how I'm going to start.
And if you, in the meantime, are like, man, I wish we could do this more often, listen, come to office hours. I do it Fridays. Will does it Mondays. Alex is working on it. We have coaching for you. If you have a question, if you want to learn something, I am like a genie in a bottle there at your command. If you're like, you know, that Jito workshop sounds really cool, I just don't want to wait until Alex is free. Great. I will walk you through it. That's what it's there for. It is open to premium members of the community, and you can sign up for a free trial. You can totally rug us. Get 14 days free, cancel it, sign up again. I probably won't notice until you've done it 2 or 3 times that you haven't paid. You know what I'm saying? Also, it's only $30 a month. So it's the kind of thing that, like, you know, if you were going to use that money on ice cream or Bitcoin, like, invest a little in yourself. Come to office hours if you have questions like that, and we will do your bidding. And don't forget, we are going to do Jito on this show next week. The week after, we're going to do this whole workshop totally free in public. It'll be recorded for you to watch everywhere, forever, so that wherever you are, whenever you listen, it'll be there for you. Solem will broadcast ASAP. Alex and I are meeting today to figure out our lives and our schedules. We started the show not really knowing where it was going to go, and you know, look at that. Satoshi has smiled upon us. It's been a good one. Thank you, everybody, for being the very best part of what we do. Until next time, my friends. Stay safe. Be well. Everybody,